LaMont,
Yes, sir.
why water?
Well, not water. Why our water? It's different. You can drink. Anybody can buy water. That's easy. It's Ozark or whoever you want to go. But when you get this, you change lives. That's why the water is the best. All other waters, they have chemicals or things added to it. Our water is 100% pure, no sodium, no calcium, no chemicals. The secret is it's quadruple osmosis, not reverse. So it's 4 filters. See, that's our secret. And our recipe, 4AP-AMZ1, it's a secret recipe of how the water's made.
I'm sorry, 4P-AMZ1.
Yes.
All right.
Our secret proprietary recipe.
Proprietary recipe, a recipe for water.
For our water.
For your alkaline water. That is absolutely amazing.
And that's what we hear every day.
and that is the brand. And so I wanna, if you would not mind, LaMont, kind of go back to when it was that you decided you wanted to not just start a beverage company, but an alkaline water company.
Well, that's a good question. In 1994, when I got out of the military, I hosted perfume. I made my first million with perfume. So I've done so many ventures. That's what I'm famous for. Perfume, cars, anything I touched, I made millions or thousands of dollars. But while I was doing the perfume, a rich man tried to convince me to drink better water. And the way he wanted me to do it is drop this thing in my glass and drink it. And I just couldn't get my head wrapped around that. But that was in the 90s. He said, this thing, it produces alkaline blood. So I said, so if this rich man is drinking that, there must be something to alkaline water. That was in 94.
Okay.
I went from that to all my other ventures, and all of them hit big. I had a couple of inventions, but none of them would get out of my heart like the water and the perfume. Because I knew everybody likes to smell good. It was better than cars. Club, I had club business, but that particular deal, I said, I'm gonna come up with water. And everybody knows, whenever I come up with something, they usually think I'm crazy at first. They stopped thinking I was crazy. Especially in 2017, I said, you know what? She was just not even a girlfriend, she was a friend of mine at the time, but she was buying all the franchises. I had a cell phone operation, a streaming operation. She bought an actual franchise in Nebraska, that's where she's from. You know she was gonna become my wife because I'd been trying, but I couldn't pull it off yet. She said I wasn't ready. But what ended up happening was, I said, you know what? I'm stopping every venture from this day to today. And the reason why is because I had a client call me, because I do what you do, as far as talking to clients, and I put my energy into their projects and make them millions of dollars, and I got tired of doing that. So this particular client was a Vietnamese family. They called me and they say, we want you to do what you do for our water recipe. I said, okay, well, I gotta watch this for 3, because I haven't seen nobody full action do it. So I watched it for 3 days and I canceled the contract. That was in 2017. I said, what I do is too powerful. I want in. I want in. So it went from a third of me being in to getting the whole thing. That's how Absolutely Amazing came about. But kept them as secret partners because he's a chemist and his brain is unbelievable. But what he didn't have is me. That's how
face and the voice.
The vision.
The vision.
Yeah, to get it out of the Vietnamese area and to the world. That's why I came in. But what I needed was something that whenever the big thing was going to be, no matter when it was 94, I never felt what the big thing was until the water. That's when it happened.
Wow. Okay, so I can't imagine starting a beverage company is easy. Just beverage company, soda, energy drink, much less water, because water is a commodity. The earth is made up of what, 75% water. The human body is made up of mainly water. So why on earth, did anybody try and talk you out of doing this?
Nobody knew.
Nobody knew.
I'm going to tell you exactly.
Building in silence, I admire that.
Well, it was, I didn't know what I had yet.
Gotcha.
I thought I did, but let me tell you what I did.
Okay.
I got my first bottle. Now you got to know, it was no label. It was just the water. So I had to design what I thought was a label. I'm embarrassed by that label, but it sold.
Sure.
I didn't know how to make them, but it was my name, and people said, okay, well, it's a water brand. Okay, But what I did,
Okay, well, I'm sorry to cut you off, but was it absolutely amazing back then, or was it just LaMont's?
no, it was absolutely alkaline.
Absolutely alkaline. Okay.
The amazing came after the first million in sales because people wouldn't stop saying this water is amazing.
Yeah.
That's where the absolutely amazing in 2020 came from. My wife.
A rebrand.
Yes.
Gotcha.
So that was on a Friday. I closed the deal Wednesday with my Vietnamese family. They are not my family now, because they don't do business with. No, they just don't. But this is literally my family. That's their daughter. I mean, it's just how they are. When they accept you, it's a done deal. So I said, okay, I'm gonna just try to make my first bottle. Let me try it. I took it to the VA. I took it to the concession. Because they have, in this VA, it's the biggest VA in the entire VA system, 10,000 veterans. And I knew that, and me being a veteran, I said, I'm just gonna walk in, talk to somebody. I'm tenacious like that.
Yeah.
Walked in, I said, look, I wanna sell my water inside the VA to the veterans. She's like, what? I said, yeah. I said, here's my water right here. She drunk it. She said, can you start Monday? Just like that, and I'm not joking. You can look this all up on YouTube because you cannot make up the things that I say. You'll see videos of me way back then where I was running out of water and we're coming through the emergency room so they can, by the pallet, so they can roll it in because it was running out. Yes. Oh. Yeah. This is all documented. I did that for 3 years inside the VA hospital where they would use the valet. They come in and go to their appointments, get a bottle or two from me, come in and say, hey, I want that 5-gallon drum or whatever. So what we did is we would take it to the valet. They'd come and bring their car around, and when the water would be inside, it was genius. Then I got too big, because I was in nightclubs then. So now I'm having to run the streets because the nightclubs they're not stopping calling because they're taking a bottle from me at wholesale and making 3 times the amount. That's a club owner's dream. So it went from that, and then so what I did is there's a dedicated convenience store, diagonal from the Michael E. DeBakey. It's the best convenience store in the medical center. Anyway, it's a halal store called the International Grocery Store. Okay, it wasn't then. It was they had a Citgo gas station. It's still a Citgo, but that guy who owns it gave me a chance to say, look, I said, I tell you what, I won't go to no other store because I'm gonna leave my operation from the VA, but I need a store where the clients can still come to, and I just talk to him. Then I said, I'm sure you better not tell you. I'm gonna come and I'm gonna start selling at the store for you. After the first week, he was like, I got it. And me and him, who owns that property, we never talked since that day. That was in 2017. What has happened now is turned into this $1 million store if you go over and see it for yourself. And what they have now is they knock down the walls. It's a full grocery store and it's top notch. But what happens is when you walk in, directly to your left, it's the first cooler. It's just a dedicated cooler of our water. And you also on our YouTube can go in there. It's nothing. 2 times a week. I call them drive-bys, my famous drive-bys. And I go by and I say, they just call me again, everybody. Let's go in. And when I walk in, the cooler's empty. Yeah. And I've been doing, I'm just famous for those. I'm famous for my taste test. And those are organic. You can't make this stuff up. People in different languages and all that. You just can't. Indians and doctors saying what they're saying.
It's changing people's, and I mean this not figuratively, but literally, because we were talking before we started the podcast interview that you've got people that are recovering from certain health issues. So we're talking, we sort of started talking process and the alkaline process, talking about the business operations standpoint, but you don't get to be this big if you're not providing some sort of value to the consumer that's drinking this water.
Well, when you bring that up, the first person that comes to mind is our favorite customer, one of our favorite customers. Her name is Miss Owens. We met her October of last year at the farmer's market. That leads me to say, I forgot to tell you this. We're the only water company exclusively to the farmer's market that's ever been. The only way you could be in the farmer's market is to be 100% organic. You can't have not one added chemical to it. That's why no water company's ever been able to sell at the farmers markets. So we were at the one on Grand Parkway, and all the farmers markets that we're in is high class clientele. So we were at the one on Grand Parkway at Cinco Ranch. So I see an old woman coming. She was in a wheelchair. She got out of her truck, her car. Her husband put her in. She had just got out the hospital 4 weeks ago, at that time, and she never tried alkaline water. So she was coming out there to get to her organic stuff, trying to get back on her feet. She was not bedridden, but wheelchair-ridden, and they told her she wouldn't work for 2 years because she had to get back. Because she said she died 3 times and the whole shebang. I said, Miss Owens, that's her name, Miss Owens. I said, take our water. She bought 4 cases of gallons right off the top because she said, I'll try anything to get my body back. So that was October. January, she calls, I need a re-up. I'm listening to her, she don't see something sound like, and that's where the video started with her. Mm-hmm. I made that delivery. When she did the interview, she pulled up for me from coming from work. I said, Miss Owens, you're back at work? She said, I went back to work right after Christmas, and everybody, Fox did an interview with her. They said she wouldn't go back. She's back at work and painting, and you got to see the videos, because I got them all documented on our YouTube channel. But that's what started it. It was those kind of stories, and I kept hearing them. I got one where a woman hadn't used the bathroom in 3 weeks. How does that work?
Wow.
Just from drinking our water, she lost 5 pounds the first 24 hours. You can't make it up. I'm telling you that. I'm almost scared when I ask the customer, "Why don't you tell me your experience?"
Oh, yeah.
And you don't know what's gonna come out their mouth. I'm just giving you 2 stories. I got plenty.
I'm still stuck on not being able to use the restroom for 3 weeks.
She said her acid reflux was so bad that at that time she was about to have a surgery for it until she drank the water. Yeah, she said she would gag on anything. It don't matter whether she could drink a Coke or whatever, and it would just be gagging uncontrollably. And she couldn't use the bathroom. Nothing could make it flush out. Mm-hmm. Drink this, it's gonna flush out.
Yeah. What did doctors tell you about the water?
I just used the ones we had. We did have it tested at a plant on YouTube. I'm a YouTube guy. That's what I do, and to show it was pure and what everybody was saying. But that's not what did it. What did it to the public is because doctors were going to our Google reviews and saying Dr. Terrell. They don't mind saying their name. Tell them. So when you see that, it was their thumbs up. But I was already the king. They call me the Waterman. That's my brand, the Waterman. And I didn't give it to myself. They gave it to me. Oh, that's the Waterman. I mean, you know you've arrived when people call you from your industry. Like when they call you the cameraman or whatever it is that you're doing.
Yeah.
I think so many. That's when you know they know you as that.
You establish yourself as an authority.
The Waterman.
Yeah, the Waterman. I mean,
it started off the Water Boy, but. It was clearly I wasn't a boy in the game, and it changed. And I'm not joking that the people came up with the Waterman.
Yeah. And
it ain't a place that we go be like, "Hey, Waterman," or they'll start. I'm looking at my wife, but they start screaming it. It's you can't make it up.
Yeah. So your wife is in the background, and you we glossed over it earlier in the segment. You were friends at first.
Oh yeah.
And so I want to know all about that experience because you're operating this business together as a married couple.
She was in Nebraska working for the government. She's a HR recruiter. That's what she does. She's been doing it for 16, 17 years. Didn't know nobody in Houston. So, long story short, she came and see me one time in 2017. This before I started the water. She knew from the streaming. She came. We didn't want her to leave. She stayed a couple of weeks, and that was the first time I actually got my beautiful love bug in my hands. I was all over her, kissed her, loved her, and she went back home, and we was trying to go back and forth, but like I told you, she said I wasn't ready. Well, in 2020, she thought I was ready. Mm-hmm. We started kind of talking more, and in 2022, she just out the blue, clear blue, said, "I'm coming down there. I'm moving." I said, "What?" She said, "Yeah." So she packed up a 26-foot truck, put her truck on it. You see how short she is, how small my wife is, and drove that truck, set up an apartment, first class, laid it out, came down here, started working for Kelsey Seaball, put together a whole life for me. That's when my life changed. We got married in 22. The A1 Water Hub was born. She showed me how the corporate works. I had already graduated from Baylor in October of 22. And it came together corporately because I was learning the finesse of what business was. I was already a bad businessman, but I'm talking about the school book. I had never went to school. No one taught me till then. So I took that And my wife, it was no stopping. That's how it came from that birth. And then Amazon got involved, and we ain't never looked back. That was last year, July 4th.
Wow. And so what's the dynamic like with that? Because when people will, depending on who you listen to or who you watch, you never go into business with your family. And so being in business with your spouse is like a whole other level of being in business with your family. It's different from, oh, well, I own a business with my sister. I own a business with my uncle, or my dad and my aunt operate this business and I do this for them. What is that like? Is every day a new adventure, and it's a lovely adventure that you just enjoy and you're thankful for? Walk me through the average day.
Well, it's not lovely all the time. I learned, one of the first things we learned in chapter 1 of the entrepreneur program from Baylor is, number 1, you do not go in business with family. You just don't, because feelings are involved. And I learned all the scenarios and how CEOs will start doing with the secretary. They taught us those because that's why you don't do it.
Right.
But of course I'm unorthodox, and I figure if I'm going to fight with somebody or have to worry about my person who I love or whatever, I might as well see them every day. So I'm gonna go against the grain. I always take the path less traveled. And I was gonna prove to the world that my wife's a superstar, even though she was an entrepreneur inside of her heart and had some ventures, but she was corporate. Well, from that, the layoff of Kelsey Sebold happened. So it was, now she had this opportunity to say, you know what? I'm not good. She always used to say, they took my bag. That's what she said Kelsey Sebold did. I said, babe, you see what I do? Look at our living. Look what we're doing right now. Because what she was doing was running corporate and helping me with my company. I said, babe, no more for you too. And it was never. I never was going to take a job. I just never had one. Never did a resume. That's just not my thing, because I know how good I am at what God gave me to do. So she's like, okay, here we are, 1 year from the layoff. No, 1 month and 1 year now.
Gotcha.
She ain't worked since, and it's the only thing we're gonna do. It's our stuff. If it ain't ours, we don't even think about it. That's kind of the story. That's what got us here, us together, against all odds. Man, I could give you some stories about what some of these vendors have done to us, distributors that ripped us off. I'm talking about some things that would make people be like, man, screw this, I'm going back to work. We ain't quit. We can't quit because now we got too many people depending on us. And even when I wanted to quit or rest, she don't let me. She can't. We got people that want their deliveries. These people, they're living off of our water. I can't stop. You heard from the beginning when you were setting up, the guy who called, that guy found us off Google. That's how it started. They always see by the videos. We made that delivery to him and his mother. The guy is young and he buys his own water every week. He buys a cake. I mean, you can't make it up. So it's just stories like that, and our customers, they love us, and they just, when we get out the car, they hug us. Where do you know people of different nationalities hugging the love bug or the Waterman, and you can't make it up. They love, when we pull up with their delivery, they're outside in the garage waiting, and you can't make, if I could just feel, if you go to YouTube, you'll see what I'm talking about. These are doctors, retired, not physicians, pharmacists, so you know they know what they're talking about. So our stuff's bona fide, certified from the right authority. So you know we're authority if they say we are.
It is absolutely amazing. Alkaline H2O.
Yes, sir.
LaMont Gilbert is the founder, operating it with his wife. Shout out your wife.
Hey, love bug. I love her. She is the CEO, operator, creator of the A1 Water Hub, home of Absolutely Amazing Alkaline H2O. She just got her first retail store. It's in Pearland, in the famous Kohl's flea market. It's been there almost 60 years.
Okay.
We're next to the corporate office on the same road, which there's a years of waiting list to get inside there. They put us there after drinking the water. You know, the Waterman went in there and left the case for them. But they didn't do it right away because it took 7 months, because where they wanted to put us, somebody had to move out. No one wants to give up. There were stores. Yeah. They finally called, but it had to be a decision right then. They said, hey, we're ready. Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you how convinced we were that we knew the gift we had. We've operated out of Jersey Village almost the whole beginning of our careers. Cold turkey. We went and bought a house. We bought it in the Gulf Gate area. We knew we were going to take over an area. So it might as well been Gulf Gate, Pearland, Clear Lake. Somebody who I didn't know nothing about it, so, and neither did she. We bought the house in May. Man, went through the tornado the same day we closed on the house. Hurricane Beryl, 5 weeks later, tree in our roof. All that happened just this year. Guys ripped us off almost $20,000. We still here. And the water is what was the recovery, the bounce back. It wasn't because we had jobs, we ain't working. So you know it ain't nobody giving us no money. And we don't have no supply, ain't no family throwing money at us and sending it, not no one. So all I got is the love bug. So the A1 Water Hub is it. And it's her store, and the people love us. Everywhere we go, people love us.
LaMont, Gilbert, my man, really appreciate you taking time to come on the show.
Thank you for having us.
All right.